Welcome back to the Programming Windows Forms application tutorial. We're still on lesson 3, and in lesson 3, we are creating a travel allowance calculator application. This is part 8, I believe, of the travel allowance calculator series, and so far we've finished coding out the program. But in the previous lesson, we realized there was a little bug in the program. So I think we tested out of checking the distance between a few cities, and the first one was correct, but the two next cities we tested were all wrong. But I said I had an idea where the problem is coming from, and I was able to look up the code and find the issue. So let's just open the code. I haven't rectified it yet, so we'll go over it together and we'll see where the problem is coming from. So if you look at the states here, you will find out that there are actually 36 states. So let's go ahead and count. That's the states we entered into the state capitals array. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. So 36 states. The thing why it was a bit difficult for me to find out was because in Nigeria you will hear a lot of people saying there are 36 states. So this is actually correct, but including the Federal Capital Territory, which is Abuja, that makes it 37. So there are 36 states plus the FCT, making 37. So we are missing one state here. Okay, so that was what was causing the problem. When we calculate, you'll find out that the state, I didn't actually look it up to find out which state we missed, but which city we missed out. But it was easy. Immediately I noticed there was one city missing. I knew that was the problem, because if you look at it in the application, when we try to find the distance of between Abakaliki and Yola, you'll find out that it gives us a wrong answer, and it gives us by just taking the one before the Yola distance. Okay, and if you try using the application to find distance between Abakaliki and Abeokuta, you'll see that you get the correct answer. The same thing with Abakaliki to Abuja, you get the correct answer. So up to where the city, that's if you arrange the cities in alphabetical order, up to where the missing city is from the top, if you keep checking the distances, you'll be getting the correct result until when you encounter a place where that city is supposed to be. Then any distance between, for example, suppose the city we're missing is in between Benin City and Benin Kebbi, then if you try to find the distance between Oka and Duse, you'll see that you're getting the wrong result. Okay, so enough talk now. Let's go ahead and start. First thing we need to do is we need to find which of the city we're missing. Also, let me just take you back to the Nigerian cities distances. I know some people might be wondering why we actually have 36 arrays here. That's 36 in the first dimension. We actually have 36, just as we have 36 state cities. That's the state capitals here. But that, if you remember, in our planning for our program, we actually did plan it correctly. The only thing is that if you remember when we were doing the Nigerian cities distances, Yola is supposed to be here. Okay, the Yola distance is supposed to be the 37th array in the 37th array, yes, in the first dimension. Okay, that's the item, 37th item here. But because there are no distances between Yola, well, the distances between Yola and every other city is already like we said, is already mentioned here. So that's why there's no need for us to include a 37th item, which is supposed to be the Yola distances. Okay, so don't let this confuse you. There are actually 37 here, but we eliminated the 37th one, which is the Yola one, because everything, all the distances from Yola to any other city is already covered in one of these items. Okay, all right. So now let's go to in order for us to find the missing city, we'll need to, honestly, I can't even I really can't figure it out because hmm, yeah, it's very difficult because the cities are a lot. So let's just go to my the web-based version of the program, which I've already written, which is actually correct, and that is where we got these cities from. I think when we were copying, transferring the cities from there over here, that was when the error was made, and I missed out one of the cities. So let's go back there and bring a copy of the cities again, and then we'll try and check and match each city to find out the one that we're missing. Okay, so let's go to the folder where I kept the web-based version. So I think it should be in Bitbucket, GitHub. Yeah, Hotman's kilometer allowance calculator. It should be in here. Okay, so let's open it with Sublime. Okay, I already have it open here. Okay, so here it is. Um, uh, okay, so these are the cities, as you can see. I'll just copy it again. So I've selected from Abakaliki up to Yola. I'll do Control C to copy that, and then we'll switch back to Visual Studio. And I think I'll just try and paste it down here after we're going to get rid of it, so we shouldn't worry about that. By the way, let me just comment it out so it doesn't distract our code. Okay, okay, this is going to be a bit difficult. I'll have to keep uh, checking. There's no way we can actually easily just copy them like vertically up here so that we can check, but we can do it manually. So Abakaliki, that's correct. Abeokuta is the next. Abuja, then Ado Ekiti, then Akure, then Asaba, then Oka, then Bauchi, then Benin City, then Birnin Kebbi, Calabar, Damaturu, Duse. I'm also looking at, while I look at it here, I look at it here on in our code to make sure it's correct. Enugu, Gombe. So up to this point, it's still correct. The next one after Gombe is Kusau, Ibadan, still correct. Ikeja, Ilorin, Jalingo, Jos, Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, Lafia, Lafia. Okay, Lafia is there. Lokoja, Maiduguri, Makurdi, Mina, Oshogo, Owerri, Port Harcourt. Okay, up to Port Harcourt is still correct. That's odd. Okay, I'm beginning to think even the one I just copied is incomplete. Sokoto, Uyo. Okay, there is our culprit. So immediately after Sokoto, there's Umuahia before Uyo, but we missed out Umuahia, so we'll have to add Umuahia. So that is the what was causing the problem. So state capitals dot add Umuahia. Umuahia. So this should rectify our problem, and it should take care of the bug. So I'm I'm just going to go to File and Save All, and then we'll run the program again, and we'll test from Abakaliki to Yola to make sure it's giving us the correct answer. So by the way, let's take it from Yola to Abakaliki. So Yola to Abakaliki, we'll say let's use 10 naira per kilometer and calculate. So you can see we're getting the 954 kilometers, which is correct now. If you check the Nigerian distances.txt, you'll see that the distance of the distance from Abakaliki to Yola, this is Yola, it's the last city in the alphabetical list. So it's 954 kilometers, which is correct. So if you go ahead and test out this program, you're going to keep getting the correct results. So I don't think there should be any other bug apart from that. So let's check the distance between Abuja and Lafia. I believe that should be a very small distance. That should probably be the shortest distance, I guess. Let's use 10 naira per kilometer, and you can see it's 100 kilometers. I think that should be the shortest distance. Okay, probably somewhere around Umuahia, Abia. Umuahia, and one of those south states. I think that should probably be where the shortest distance is, where it might be 80 something kilometers. I'm not sure. So anyway, this is our final result. This is the program we've created, and you can see you can really begin to see the usefulness of something like this. So in my office, where we have to calculate kilometer allowances for different staff traveling from one place to another, I could just use this rather than using the kilometer chart. Using a kilometer chart, you're prone to errors. The kilometer chart could like wipe off. It could become illegible, and there are so many problems that you can run into using the kilometer chart. But once you've written this program becomes something you can easily use to calculate kilometer allowance for anyone, for your staff, right? And it makes your job much easier and faster. So for example, I could just look at the itinerary and say, okay, it's going from Ikeja to Casina, and I'll just click. So I'll have to feed the payment per kilometer, and I'll just click on calculate allowance, and immediately I have the allowance I'm paying that particular stuff. Okay, and I also have a visual display of the kilometer of the distance between those two states. So you could actually use this program not just for calculating allowance. You could use it for just checking the distance between two different cities, right? And another good thing about the program, the way we designed it, you can see it's different from the way I did the web-based program, which we actually had coded the distances. That's where is it? That's the distances array. That's the kilometer chart, where we actually had coded the kilometer chart in the program. For this one, if there's any change, between the distances, you could just come to the distances text file and make your change and save it, and you can still keep using the same program. Okay. And another thing is, you could okay, I can see there's one little problem we could run into. So the thing is, like, using this same program, you cannot find the distances between cities in say the United States, for example. Okay, so if you want to do something like that, a better way to create this program is, you see this Nigerian cities distances.txt. It should provide both the distances and the names of the cities. Okay, the names of the cities. So we could have actually embedded the names of the cities beside these distances. Obviously, that means in our code we'll have to change the way we write the code. You can see, although we actually provided the distances separately from the code, the problem I'm talking about is that you can see that the names of the cities are actually hard coded into the program, which still brings us back to the initial problem we're trying to run away from. Okay, so anyway, at least the one we did, separating the distance, the kilometer chart, from the hard code of the program, is actually a way forward. Okay, so the next step, if you want to take this program further, is to actually also extract these cities. That's the names of the cities, and make sure that rather than hard coding the names of the cities here, let this text file, that's the text file where you read the distances from, make sure that that text file also contains the names of the cities, so that you read the names of the cities from that text file. Now when you do that, your program becomes universal. Like, you can use the program for many different it wouldn't really matter which state or which country, which cities, the cities of which country you're trying to find the distances between, right? You could actually just, all you need to do to find that using the same program, if you want to find the distances between cities in the US, in the United States, is you just you take out this Nigerian cities distances.txt and you replace it with a USA cities distances.txt. That's if you create another text file that has the USA cities distances.txt, right? And you can use any different, just like you do for the you plan for the United States distances. You can also do it for other countries, right? And you have what I mean is, you have a universal program that can actually calculate travel allowance irrespective of okay, that's Google distracting me, sorry about that. So anyway, that's the way forward for the program. And I don't know if I'm going to put up a tutorial to show you how to do that, or I think it's probably better to give it as an assignment. I don't know, for people following. Try, okay, maybe in the future, in the near future, I'm going to try and do something like that to show you how you can achieve that. But for now, just try and do it yourself. Test, put yourself to the test, try and see if you can actually remove that, extract these the names of the cities rather than hard coding it into the program. Let it be together. That's let the program read the names of the cities from the text file. Okay. All right. And by the time I'll put up the tutorial, then you'll see another way probably you could do it. That's if you've done it, and if you haven't, you'll see how to do it. Okay, should we stop this tutorial here? I'm beginning to think, okay, yes, I just remembered there's one thing we're actually missing. I said in the program, we're going to make it easier for the user to enter the names of cities. So for example, if the person is looking for Ikeja, you can see it would take the user some time to look for Ikeja in this list, right? A very an easier way for the user to actually find Ikeja is if he just types Ikeja, right? If he just starts typing Ikeja and then, sorry, not Ikeja, Ikeja, and then just check the list, right? And that list should be filtered so that all the states that do not contain IKEJA should just disappear from the list and leave only the cities that contain that particular phrase or characters, right? Or string, right? So that's what we're going to do now. let's just quickly try and I'll try and show you how to do that now. So the same thing with the journey endpoint. It's just a little filter. So if the user starts typing, then the list should kind of limit itself to only the cities that contain the text that the user has just typed. Okay, so let's go back to our code view, and what we're going to do is we're going to go to, okay, not the code view. Actually, what we need is we're going to go back to the code view, but first we have to select the drop down box. Let's start with the journey start point. Now we're going to go to the properties window that's here, and we'll look for events. That's this thunder. Let's click this lightning symbol. Click on it. It will take you to the event, and what we are looking for is the change event. So the change event is when the user actually starts typing, right? Well, not just starts typing. Whenever there's a change, like you see, if the program is running, whenever there's a change in the characters within the drop down box, that's the text box of the drop down box, that change event is going to be triggered, and the code you write in there is going to be executed. So let's look for if we can find anything like change. I can see region changed. No, not region changed. Size changed, style changed, selection changed, committed, selected value changed. Nope, that's not what we're looking for. Text change, yes, this is the one we're looking for. So if the text in the text box of the drop down box changes, this particular event is going to be fired. So let's click on the right hand side here, and we'll double click in the space where that's on the right hand side of the text change property. So let's double click there, and to create the event handler for the change. Don't worry about the name it gives the method. Let's just leave it like that. It's because the name of the combo box is start point combo box, and it just gave the name of the event handler as start box combo box underscore text change. So that's the default way it names the event handlers. Okay, so all we need to do now is to provide the code that actually filters the text here. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So first we're going to need the text in the text box. So let's say string entered text, entered, or let's call it typed text. So that's the text that the user has just typed. Typed text equals start point combo box, start point combo box dot text. Okay, so this is going to contain whatever the user has typed into the text box, and now we're going to use it to filter out the contents of the start point combo box. So to do that, we're going to say okay, first of all, let's look for the array, or yeah, the array where the start point combo box gets its data from. So I can't remember exactly the name of the array, but we can access it by going to start point combo box dot I believe it should be data source. Yeah, data source. That should be what contains the array. Actually, this one is coming as an object, so that's going to be a bit difficult to use. We don't want to use it as an object. We actually want it to come as an array so we can filter it. So let me just go back to the top of our code and see where we set the data source for the start point combo box. Okay, so this is the data source, start point entries. We called it start point entries, and we also called the endpoint combo box data source, we called that endpoint entries. So we're going to be using the start point entries and the endpoint entries. Okay, so let's go back there, and we're going to use the start point entries to to change that. Okay, so we're going to say start point entries dot, we're going to filter. Is there a filter method? Okay, so this array does not have a filter method. So what we're going to do is we're going to go manually inside the array and be removing items until, and be removing all the any item that does not contain this particular text. That's what the user has just typed. Okay, so I'm just checking in there to see if there's any other method we could use in place of the filter method. So I don't think there's a filter method there. Yeah, there's no filter method. Okay, that no problem. We can actually just um we can just create, we can just do it ourselves by removing all the items that do not contain this text. So to do that, first let's create a temporary array. I'm going to say array. Okay, first I think it is actually good to check what the user has typed. Okay, the reason why we want to check what the user has typed is, if the user actually types that, if the user has just removed everything that he has typed, that's if he has erased everything completely, that means the type text is going to be an empty string, right? If the type text is an empty string, rather than say we should filter, what we want is we want to bring back all the other cities. Okay, all the cities, we're going to bring back all the cities. Okay, so that's why here the first thing we need to do is we need to check if typed text dot length is equal to 0. So that means the for the type text dot length to be 0, it means definitely that there is no it's an empty string. Okay, so we could have actually done this, or we could have also done if type text is equal to, and then use the empty string. Okay, but this is also this will suffice for now. So if type text is empty, what we need to do is we need to say start point combo box dot data source is equal to, and then we give it the original data source, which is start point entries. Start point entries. Okay. Okay. And then else, so if there is actually some text in there, so this one is testing if it's an empty string, it should bring back the contents of the combo box. Then this one, the else statement, is saying if the user has actually typed something, so we should try and filter. So we're going to do the filtering here. So to do the filter, first what we need is we need to create another array, which is going to be like a temporary array that holds the start point entries. So let's say list. By the way, what do we use? Yeah, it's a list of strings. So we're going to say list string start point entries copy. So this is a copy of the start point entries is equal to start point entries. Okay, so we're just copying the start point entries. I don't want us to tamper with the start point entries, because you can see we're using it here. So we shouldn't tamper with it. Rather than tampering during doing the filtering on it, it's better to just create an empty to create a copy of it, and then perform what we want to perform on the copy. Okay, and then after performing that on the copy, after performing the filtering on the copy, we can then take the items of the copy and then place inside the combo box data source. Okay, so next thing we need to do is we need to filter. So for each, we're going to use the for each loop. For each, I'm going to say string city in start point entries copy. If um okay, I can see a little issue. So rather than making a copy here, let's not make a copy. Let's just declare the start point entries and initialize it. It's called new list string. So we've just created a start point entries copy, and we've just initialized it. So this is not actually a copy, it's just an empty list. Okay, it's just an empty list where we intend to copy the filtered items of the start point entries into there. Okay, so here we're going to say if if city dot contains, okay, dot contains what the what the user has typed. Okay, so if the city if this that's each city in the start point entries. Okay, if okay, this shouldn't be start point entries copy, this should be start point entries. Okay, so if each city in the start point entries, right, contains, so whenever you find, it's going to, first of all, this for each loop is going to iterate over every single city that's inside the start point entries, right. Now if that city, for each city, if that city contains what the user has typed, then you should add that city to this start point entries copy. Okay, however, if that particular city it's iterating on does not contain that text, then it should not even bother adding that city into the start point entries copy. Okay, then after we have filtered out, by the time we finish this iteration, you'll notice that we have successfully filtered all the cities that only contain what the user has typed. Okay, so and then we'll use that to populate the start point combo box. Okay, so let's finish out the code. If city dot contains typed text, then if that occurs, then it should do start point entries copy dot add city. Another thing we need to be careful with is that you notice that the user could actually type the text in capital letters, and if you remember, the start point entries are actually in small letters, if I remember correctly. Yes, the start point entries, okay, the start point entries are actually in upper letters, they are in capital letters, uppercase letters. So the user could actually type the text in small letters. So to make sure we don't run in cases where the user enters, for example, if the user types Abuja in small letters, it's going to filter out all the cities, including Abuja, because Abuja in the start point entries is written in capital letters, and the user has written his own entry in small letters. So that's going to cause nothing to be populated in the start point combo box. So to take care of that, we need to, in our check, what we need to check is if city dot contains type text dot to upper. Okay, so let's make sure we convert this to uppercase. So this to upper method converts what you have into uppercase letters. Okay, then this is correct. So for now, this is correct. So this is how we're going to write the code for each string city in start point entries. If city dot contains type text dot to upper start point entries copy dot add. Okay, so at this point, by the time this loop uh, 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 completes, we need to at that point, at this point, the start point entries copy is going to contain all the cities that have been filtered. That's the filtered cities. So we need to say combo box, start point combo box, start point combo box dot data source, and then we point the data source to the start point entries copy. Okay, so we need to point it to the filtered list rather than the original list. Okay, so this is for if yes. Okay, so that's all for the start point combo box. I think at this point we can, I hope you were people actually followed. I know I'm a bit off in explaining today. It's probably not as clear as I would have wanted it to be, but I just hope you were able to follow up what we coded out now. So I'm just going to go to File, Save All, and then we can test out. You can see we've only, with this, we have only done the filtering for the start point combo box. We also need to do the same thing for the endpoint combo box. But before we do it for the endpoint combo box, let's test this out and see if it works. So let's click on play, and then here I'm going to type. You can see if I click on the arrow, you can see all these states are there. Then now I'm going to type A. Okay, that's that's embarrassing. Okay, I think I know where we have the problem from. Let's just stop that. In the code we wrote, okay, you can see we wrote city in we wrote city in quotation marks, not in double quotes. We're supposed to write it without the double quotes. Okay, so that was the cause of the problem. So we're supposed to add city. That's the particular city it has just tested out and filtered out from the start point entries. So I'll just go and file, save all again, and then run the program again and test this out again. I'm going to type A. Okay, let's just click this. You can see already. Okay, let me just repeat that step. I'm going to remove everything and then click on the arrow. You can see for now there are items. All the cities are there. The moment I type A here, you can see that any city that does not contain the word A has been eliminated from the list. Okay, the only issue I can see is now this is not actually changing even though I typed in there. Now I'm going to type B. um okay, we've run into an exception. I can see the problem we're going to run into. The problem we're running into is that let's is that we're trying to use the same you can see this is the combo box. We're using the same combo box to perform to pick out the text we're trying to use to filter from the same combo box, and that is actually going to be almost impossible. So for the first character it works, but there's no way to add subsequent characters. Okay, there's no way you can add subsequent characters. So that's the problem we're going to run into. What we need to do to rectify that is we need to create an empty. So we need a separate. If you come here, so we're in the design view. We need a separate. This is a combo box, which like a drop down list that has items in it. So what we need is another extra text box at the top. So we need a text box up here, which we'll be using for the filtering. Okay, so that whatever we type into that text box can be used to filter out what's in the combo box. Okay, so to do that, I'm just going to in this design view, I'm going to drag this down a bit. I'll do the same for this, and I'll go to my toolbox and look for text box, and I'll bring in a text box here. So this is the text box we're going to use for filtering the contents of the combo box. And I'll just copy Control C and Control V, and I'll just drop that here. So we have two extra text boxes. Then also our code needs to change. So if we go to the code view, first of all we need to click. Okay, let's go to the code first and cut out the code we've just written. So all this code needs to be cut out from here. Control X, we don't need it there. We go back to our design view. Let's go to the to where we added that the text change event handler. Let's remove this event handler. Okay, so I'm going to click that and click on backspace until I remove everything there. Backspace. So I've removed the event handler. I'll go back to the code view. That's here, yes, and the event handler has already been automatically removed. Okay, so that's a good one. By removing it in the design view, it has also been removed from the code view. So what we need to do is we actually want to do the same thing. We want an event handler, but we want it on this text box. Okay, so we're going to click on this text box, and then we're going to go to text text changed. Yes, the text changed event of the. You can notice the difference. Initially when we did it, we actually used the text change event handler of text change event, sorry, of the combo box. But now what we're doing is we're using the text change event of the text box on top. Okay, so I'm going to go to the properties window, click on text change, and double click on the right hand side, and we have created that event handler. And now I'm going to do Control V to paste the code I cut out from the that we've just written and tested out in the previous event handler. So this is the text, which is still correct. The only thing I'm trying to look at is we're not taking typed text from start point combo box.text. We're now taking typed text from the new text box we've just added. So before we do this, let's just go and rename the text box. Okay, so I'm going to go to design view, click on this text box, go to the properties tab, that's here, and then look for name. It's called textbox 1. We're going to change that from textbox 1 to we can call it start city. So let's call it start city. Notice start is starting with a small s, and then city is starting with a capital C. And then we'll do the same for this text box. It's called textbox 2. We're going to change that and call it end city. And then after that, we're going to go to the code view. Let's go back to the code view, and here we're going to say start city.text. So we're using what the user types in that start city.text to populate the start point combo box data source. Okay, and then if you go to, we're going to do the same thing for the endpoint combo box. So, but before that, let's test out this program and see how it runs. So we're going to click play, and then you can see from the drop down box, you can see all these states. The moment I type A and you check there, you'll see that only states that contain A. If I add B here, so now we have AB. If you check the list, you'll see that it's only cities that contain the text AB are in there. Okay, so for example, Asaba has AB here, Calabar has AB here. If I add another character U, you'll see that it is only one city that has the characters ABU. Okay, but the way this program is going to work now is that for it to actually work, you have to it's going to select whatever. It's not going to be using what you type in here to actually do the calculation. Okay, it's actually what is selected in the text boxes, in the combo boxes. Okay, so the text box is just for filtering the contents of the combo box, while the combo box is actually what is being used to perform the calculation. Okay, so at least that's working for now. We can do the same thing for the journey endpoint. So to do that, let's stop the program first. We'll go to the design view, click on the endpoint end city text box, and then go to the properties, sorry, not the properties tab, the events tab that's here in the properties window, and go to the text changed event and double click there. So that's going to create, this is the one for this is the event handler for the start city filter, and this is the event handler for the end city filter. So this if end city text has been changed. So it's going to be very similar. We'll just copy that code from there and paste it here. But then there are a few differences. For example, the type text is going to be from end city dot text. That's one. And then also we're not dealing with start point combo box here. We're dealing with end point combo box. So change that to end point combo box. And also we're not dealing with start point entries. We're dealing with end point entries. So we're going to call this endpoint entries copy, and make sure we change all these to endpoint entries copy. Change this to endpoint combo box, and change this also to endpoint entries copy. So it's exactly what we've just done here. The only difference is this one is handling the start point combo box, and this one is handling the filtering of the endpoint combo box items. Okay, so I'm going to go to file, save all, and then we'll run this program again and we'll see. So now if the user is looking for let's say Calabar, you can just start typing. You can see the moment I added the CA, already Calabar is already selected. And if I come here, okay, if I come in here, the moment I type, suppose I'm looking for Kano, KAN, and already we have Kano listed there, and it's the only one that actually has KAN. So you can see how useful this filtering can be. Rather than looking into the combo box to search for what you're looking for, you can actually use this text box to filter out the items there to make it easier for you to select. And then you can choose your a payment per kilometer and click on calculate, and you get the distance between Calabar and Kano, which is this. You can test it, you can confirm this. I don't have the time to check it out, but I'm pretty sure this is correct. Okay, so this is the end of the travel allowance calculator tutorial. I like I said, there still remains an assignment for you to actually take out these hard coded cities and put it inside the Nigerian cities distances, such that you can actually just choose any text file. You can pick any text file and change and feed to your program, so that the program runs using that particular text file. So if you give it a text file that has cities of the United States and the distances between cities of the United States, then the program should still work correctly, okay, without actually changing the code that we've already written, okay. Well, there's going to be slight changes, like I said, the planning in the code. There's going to be very, very limited changes, but most of what we've written, for example, this is going to remain the same. That's the get distance method is going to remain. So many things are going to remain the same. I think the only thing that's going to change is going to be where you actually read the distances, okay. So where you read the distances, and also here where you actually populate the contents of the combo box, okay. So this is where I'm going to stop in this tutorial, and I'll hope to see you in a later tutorial if I do find the time to start another one. Okay, see ya.